Friday, they're back. Television's hottest stars going for all the action and glory in the battle of the network stars. Then it's Christmas from Nashville with Robert Urich and everybody's favorite country music stars. Christmas from the Grand Ole Opry.
humbug.
Gather round, children. Let me tell you a story.
Christmas morning, I ran down the stairs. I ran toward the fireplace, I flew through the air. I looked in my stocking, there was no Christmas joy. I got a stupid stocking stuffer instead of a toy. I got fruit. I got fruit. I got a freaking orange, yeah. I got fruit. I got fruit. I got a freaking orange, yeah, yeah. So I looked at my mother, I looked at my dad. I asked, why would Santa bring me something stupid like that? Of all of the things that I had asked Santa for, why would he get my stocking stuffer at a grocery store? I got fruit. I got fruit. I got a freaking orange, yeah. I got fruit. I got fruit. I got a freaking orange, yeah, yeah. 30 years later, I have my own kids. They run down the staircase exactly like I did. They look in their stockings and tears fill their eyes. I feel their pain as they realize that they got fruit. They got a freaking orange, yeah. They got fruit. Maybe you were just naughty this year. They got a freaking orange, yeah, yeah. They got a stupid stocking stuffer. Fruit. A stupid stocking stuffer. Fruit. A stupid stocking stuffer. A stupid stocking stuffer. Fruit. A stupid stocking stuffer. Fruit. A stupid stocking stuffer. They got fruit. They got fruit. They got a freaking orange, yeah, yeah. They got fruit. They got fruit. They got a freaking orange, yeah, yeah. They got fruit.
Yeah, it really kind of sucked. Of course, it wasn't as bad as the year we got the peanuts in the bottom of our stocking. Or the year when we got a pencil and eraser. It was an orange. A freaking orange.
Happy holidays! Now go eat some fruit! Especially you!
A Yuletide message from Bobcat Goldthwait and MTV.
Hi. This holiday season, you can do something about the crass commercialization of Christmas. You can be a part of it!
It's the MTV Scrooge for a Day contest. You'll be the greediest thing known to man, a television network president. You'll be rich, you'll be powerful, just like Bill Murray in his new Paramount hit Scrooge. You'll run an entire network, MTV. For one whole day, you'll see what it's like to pick the videos.
And coming up next, the entire Tiffany catalog.
Pick the news.
Bobcat Goldthwait today received the Nobel Peace Prize for his work with toddlers.
Read it!
He's the handsomest man ever to win the prize.
Give high-level orders to groveling toadies.
Go down the store and get the frozen pizza.
As MTV's Scrooge for a Day, you'll win a big fat commission from MTV holiday advertising and one day's gross from a major theater showing Scrooged, plus Levi's 501 jeans, Twix cookie bars, and Permasoft shampoo. And at the end of the day, just like Scrooge, you'll be gently persuaded by the ghost of Christmas to give 20% to charity. So send your name, age, and address to MTV Scrooge for a Day. Post Office Box 899, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101.
By the way, I happen to be in that movie too. That may sound like self-promotion, but hey, it's the season.
The Live Stream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
Welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and if you enjoy talking about music, movies, mostly TV, and a little bit of toys tonight, well, you've come to the right place. So I am super excited. I've got a special guest with me this evening. You guys know him from his YouTube channel, an amazing YouTube channel it is, that Junkman. We'll just call him Junkman tonight. But before I bring him on, I want to say hello to as many people as I can. So let me quickly scroll up as far as I can to this thread. You guys have been chatting forever, folks. Holy cow. Let me see if I can get to the top of this chat. Lance Chaffin, welcome to the live stream. Daryl Johnston, Mark Gerard, a.k.a. Jerry Gillespie. Kenneth Wilkinson. Let's see. Superplex, good to have you with us. Gary Carpenter. Adrian James, welcome. Shannon Burns. Hope everybody is getting, hope your holiday season has been wonderful so far. Let's see, who else is here? Tom McCluskey, a.k.a. The Hungry Jerk. Welcome, Emily Miller. Good to have you with us. She says the phone is charged and ready to go. Good to have you here. Let's see, who else do we have? Crow Minion was here about 15 minutes early. Welcome. Good to have you here as well. I am getting so excited for Santa's arrival, just a few days away, and who knows what kind of, speaking of good toys, what kind of good toys might be in my future. John Doe, welcome to the live stream. Let's see, who else is here? Man, I just love watching this conversation, looking at it. I can't wait to, after the live stream's over, go back and read everything everyone's saying. David Thomas, Keith E, welcome to the live stream. Kevin Hawthorne, Dave Claroni, Moabs. And I'm going to miss some folks, and I apologize when I do. Danny Staten, great to have you here. Thanks for sharing that video earlier today. Folks, if you haven't seen it, go over to my community section. You'll see on my channel, and you'll see a video that Danny put together earlier today. It's a fun video with all sorts of really cool goodies that he's sharing. Mark M., Jeremy Wright, John Doe, probably said hello already to you, but I'll say it again. Ted Harrington, Tom Lemery, John Collins in the house, Claude Saling, the weed in your garden says, hey, Junkman. There we go. Let's put him on the screen. The weed in your garden. I like that. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Chris Mason, welcome to tonight's live stream. We'll be bringing on Junkman in just a second. Just a few more hellos. Tracy Roth Myers, good to have you here. Shannon Burns, welcome to the live stream. Let's see. I think Kevin Davis, welcome. I think I've almost got everybody here. Let me keep scrolling. James Rice, Wajameen. Welcome to both of you. Bladestar2 says, hi, Dave. Hi, Junkman. Did I see T-Ponds in the house? No Thrash Pondo yet. No Thrash Pondo. Hopefully he'll be here soon. Let's see who else we have. I think I might have got Dominic D. Welcome. There's Thrash Pondo. He's here. He says, hello, cats and kittens. Oh, and Ken Cohen's here. And look at this. Holy cow.
Super chat.
Got a super chat from John Collins already. He says, Merry Christmas, Dave, and Happy Holidays to everyone else. I saw the Whitney Houston film tonight. Talk about someone trying to find love and having to be what everyone else wanted. So sad. I'm looking forward to that movie, John. Thanks for sharing a little bit about it. You know what? She gained prominence in the mid-'80s, and I really enjoyed her music. Not typically a big fan of that kind of pop music, but I really did enjoy her music. And who couldn't admire the fantastic voice that Whitney Houston had? And it is truly tragic how her life ended. And, you know, it just goes to show that you can have looks like you can have almost everything in the world and still feel like you don't have anything. So looking forward to that movie. Thanks for the mini review. I believe Ian Carling is in the house. Ian C., welcome. Good to have you with us. I do want to say thank you to John for this fantastic super chat. Let me see. What's the right way to do that? You know, I always go with this one. I like the Mr. Rogers one, but tonight I'm going to give you, we're going to go with some Dukes and then maybe a little Grimley. Thanks again, John. Truly appreciated. Tony Quinn, welcome to the live stream. Good to have you here. And yes, Ian C. is here saying that Whitney had a great voice, but not his kind of music either. Bladestar 2 is here. I think I'm caught up, and I think that's it. And like I said, if I missed anybody, well, my sincere apologies. Hopefully we'll catch you with a later comment. So without any further ado, I told Junkman I'd bring him on at 8:05 Eastern. It's 8:07. I've delayed, so let's delay no longer. Let's bring Junkman on. And we didn't get a chance to test audio or video, but I have a feeling that everything's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and see what happens here.
Fingers crossed. You can hear me.
I can hear you just fine. Welcome to the live stream, Junkman. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, this is a treat for me. I'm a big fan of your channel, and of course, I'm a big fan of retro and nostalgic toys as well. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I watched before we did a video together on my channel. I would watch you all the time. I was like, man, we're style's kind of the same, so I need to reach out to you. So
absolutely, and I'm so glad you did. I love the Mrs. Pac-Man in the background there. That's that looks like a lot of fun.
Yes, I love Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I remember, you know, I'm old enough to remember going to the arcade and having loved Pac-Man. We'd skip school. I was in high school and Pac-Man came out, and when Ms. Pac-Man hit the arcade, that was, you know, mind blown. They'd just taken a great game and made it that much better.
Yeah, the board changed, so it didn't get as boring as Pac-Man would get. Pac-Man would get kind of. Yeah, I fed it a lot of quarters in the 80s.
Yeah, me too. Once you figured out the patterns on the original Pac-Man, you needed that, mix it up, plus you had the little interludes. It was great.
Yeah. And in fact, I had where I grew up at, the guy next door to us, his job was putting arcade games in the stores, and he would repair them. So his basement was always full of rotating arcade games. So I got a lot of Miss Pac-Man practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a friend who ended up with was it Crystal Castle, something like that, ended up with the key. And I think he ended up with it through nefarious means, a key to open up the arcade game. And then there was a little switch you could just flip.
Yeah.
And you could just jam on the credits.
Yeah.
And we played that game. It wasn't even our favorite game, but just the fact that we were playing it for free, you know, that was the best, and we'd spend hours playing that darn game.
Yeah, it was free. In fact, that guy I knew that put games in. He said people would drill a quarter, get a quarter, drill a hole, and put a string on it, and drop it down there, and pull it like a yo-yo back out to get free game.
We weren't that smart. That would have been great. But you know, I feel like it's almost like with TV shows and movies now. There's this glut of shows. There's so much to watch, and yet it's hard to find anything good. It's almost the same with video games nowadays too. There's just so much out there, but you know, there was something magical about that time in the 80s and 90s when you go to the arcade and you'd find this. There weren't all that many choices. You'd go into an arcade and there'd be maybe like 50 machines there, but man, they were just, each one of them seemed like a winner, at least for a short period of time. You remember the Star Wars arcade game, right?
Oh, I had a bowling alley by my house that got it, and my brother told me about it. I had to walk 15 minutes to get down there, and I fell in love with it. But,
that one and Tron.
I love Tron, especially the bike. I wasn't good at it. I was horrible. It would last about 2 minutes, but
I love Tron because you just felt like there was two games like this. There was Tron and there was another one called Gorf. I don't know if you remember
I
Gorf.
remember the name.
But Gorf was one of these multi games, right? Tron had multiple games in the game itself.
Yeah.
And Gorf had Space Invaders and a bunch of other, like 3 other games as well.
Yeah.
You kind of cycle through, and lots of fun. But let's talk about other things.
We have to give some love to pinball machines. A lot of people forget how fun pinball was. Okay, I didn't want to talk arcades and not bring up the fun of pinball.
Well done, well done. What was your speaking of? So let me just ask you, because I do have a favorite. What was your favorite pinball machine?
Oh, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Again, like I said, the guy that owned, he would put them out, so he had them in his basement, and it was one called Haunted House, and it had like 3 levels to it.
Oh man,
and it was pretty. And that and the Kiss game, I like playing the Kiss.
The Kiss one was awesome.
Yeah,
loved the Kiss one. The one I remember, and maybe it was just because it was the first 50-cent pinball machine I ever played. Ooh. We went to the 7-Eleven and they'd replaced, I can't remember what pinball machine had been there, but there was an alien pinball machine. It was 50 cents to play. But man, it was just so awesome.
I forgot gas stations had pinball machines until you said that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I remember some of my fondest memories are going to gas stations instead of arcades. And because you could then get like the slushie that the gas station would have, or some sort of treats and drinks, and just hang out there until, frankly, they got tired of you hanging out there and told you to go home.
Yeah, in arcades, you usually had to play and move on because someone's behind you waiting to grab
or
it.
you had that one person who would say, "Hey, let me get you an extra guy. Let me get you an extra guy. Just I can do it for you."
I'll reach over your shoulder to tell you where to go that way. Right. Eat that ghost. And you're like,
those guys were the worst.
Yeah.
All right. So the topic of the evening, and folks, I promise I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to the chat right now. I will, if I see a super chat pop in, we'll stop. Super chats get priority. We'll stop everything. We'll acknowledge the super chat. We'll read it. We'll thank whoever it is. But we'll later on, I'll give you all a chance to share like your favorite toy and ask Junkman any questions you have for him. Since, a lot of these folks, I know you have a community of your own, but I have a feeling some of these folks are not as familiar with you. So I want them to be able to ask you questions too.
Yeah.
But first, I thought I'd give you why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit, Junkman? Talk about what you're all about, what the channel's all about. I have, like I said, I've been a big fan of your channel. As a matter of fact, I took a screenshot of your channel today, and I had a great time watching the Kiss video. But even more, I thought the Kiss video was going to be my favorite one, but I loved, little feedback for you, I loved your point and counterpoint video with the caps, the roll caps and the plastic caps. And I know you're leaning towards the plastic side, but an old schooler like me, the paper was a little more versatile for me. Larry mentioned at the end, one of the things that I really love to do, I was a guy that I had the cap gun, and there's some downsides. Clearly, the circular plastic caps were better. They worked better. They did. They just worked better. But I'm one of those guys that like to take the rock and just lay out the caps and pop, 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 and make noises with them. I also had one of those rocket things. You take just one little cap, you tear it off, you put it in this metal rocket thing, and you throw it in the air, and it was weighted so that it would come down nose down, and it would just make, I don't know, is an 8-year-old kid's mind, the biggest bang of them all. So
I'm surprised how most everybody likes the paper one. And I was surprised because I thought everybody liked the round plastic like I did, but I did a poll on there too, and everybody went paper, and I couldn't. Really, most people went paper. Yeah,
clearly, I think the plastic was more efficient, but I think the paper was more versatile, and it was cheaper too.
I never could load the paper ones good.
I couldn't either. I would always get, you didn't even mention it, or Larry didn't mention it or whatever. He wouldn't have, because he would pro a paper, but as I would load it, I do it wrong in some way that it would bunch up. I don't know if you ever remember bunching up. not only would I miss some, but they'd get all caught, and they weren't as efficient. But that's when you just took them out and started banging on them with a rock.
That was just as fun too.
All right, so I've rambled on again. Why don't you tell folks?
I think somebody asked in the chat, who's on my shirt? Because I just want to say that is Ozzie Nelson.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The original Oz. I love that.
That is Ozzie. Okay.
Go ahead and tell folks a little bit about your channel and what you talk about and that kind of thing.
Well, it's That Junkman. You can go to thatjunkman.com and it directs you right to the channel. I know I hate saying I'm a toy channel. People's always, oh, he's a toy channel, but I don't cover just toys. I cover, like you, anything probably 70s, 80s era I talk about. I go into some new stuff, like if it's, a lot of 90% of the videos as far as Star Wars related. So anything like a new Star Wars show I might talk about. So it's just mostly a lot of toy stuff. But again, it's mostly, if you grow up Generation X, I think you'll like the channel. Just anything mostly 70s, 80s. Toys that never got released. Toys people forgot about. One of my favorite topics I've been doing lately is rack toys, those cheap toys that just spin on the rack. And I think I sent you some to look at tonight.
Yeah, so we can talk about them. I agree with you totally. There was something magical about going to the grocery store and they'd have that spinner rack full of toys. They were all junk, but it was magical, wonderful.
Right. It had nothing to do with, like, the box would say like MASH, and the stuff inside had nothing to do with MASH. You know, it was just some generic stuff they threw on a card to pick up some sales.
Let's do this for a second here. Let me find a couple of them, a couple of great examples. This was one I thought, and unless you had a specific order you wanted to show things.
No, I just
this
grabbed
one's
it real quick.
Total spinner rack stuff. But I see this one came from Kmart actually, but I mean, what did they do? Just plop Epstein's head on top of a Hot Wheels hair?
And they got all the sweat hogs. You could get each one. You can tell it's just some generic card with a sticker on it that says Epstein.
Yeah. I love that one. There was another good one here.
And it's amazing how many Welcome Back Carter stuff toys. They had a figure line or more were like a doll line. And they had paper dolls. Can you believe they had paper dolls?
Yeah. I remember the paper dolls. I remember the paper dolls for Welcome Back Kotter. Welcome Back Kotter, for a brief period of time, they're just licensing crazy is what it was.
Yeah, it don't really seem like that type of show that young kids were watching, but I guess maybe they were. It seemed like mostly teens and older, I would have thought, been more into it.
Yeah. Anyway, you're absolutely right about your channel. And folks, if it's easy to find. All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in That Junkman in the search box. It's going to come up. It's going to be the very first thing. You can subscribe to it. If you enjoy my channel, you'll love his stuff, because what he does is, you're right, it's not a toy channel. Although you talk about toys a lot, it's a memory channel. And it's so much fun to listen to you talk about, things from decades gone by. And I think we're successful when we help people remember things from their own childhood and their past. That's really, I think, the goal of my channel. It feels like it's the goal of your channel as well.
Yeah, I love when I tell people all the time in the comments, I want people to say, I forgot about that, or, oh, I had that. It's two things I love to hear.
Yeah. The other thing I love is when people will just, in the comment section, share a memory that you could tell was clearly brought on by watching the video. And it's
amazing how I'll tell a story about something that happened to me in school, and how many people say, hey, I did that, or I had that same thing, where, back then we wasn't able to reach people outside of our neighborhood. So it was great to see, hey, these people in California were doing the same thing I was doing down here in the South. So.
Absolutely. It's when you're young and you're a teenager, early teen, you feel like you're kind of the only one that's thinking that way, but it is definitely heartening. And it's not just YouTube or the internet, but it definitely has connected us and demonstrated it more so now than ever, that we all had similar experiences and we're all connected that way.
Yeah.
I've got another super chat. Let me go to that quickly. It's my friend John Collins again. God bless his soul. I see BK's here. BK on the air's here. Welcome. Good to have you with us, BK. Let me see if I can find that super chat real quick. So many people talking. It's sometimes hard to get to it. There we go. John Collins says, Dave, if Rick D's Disco Duck was in some universe a #1 smash, then your stocking stuffer jam should be a critically acclaimed smash hit as well. It's better. I am not going to go that far. I loved Disco Duck. I thought that was a great song. I can still remember us listening to it over and over coming home from a scout trip when I was like 12 or 13 years old and just thinking that was the funniest song ever. But you know what? That was kind of the goal, was to create a humorous Christmas song. And it's been one that my brother, Steve, who has his own YouTube channel, and I wrote years and years ago, long before YouTube even existed. And it's fun to play that at family gatherings, and certainly fun to share that now with my community here. So thank you so much, John. And let me find another way to say thank you. We're going to go back to Spider-Man and then maybe a little Charo.
Someone is trying to embarrass me.
Either Charo or Florence Henderson. I'm not sure which one had more appearances on Love Boat, but I absolutely loved it every time April Lopez showed up on the Love Boat.
It's got to be Charo. She was on it, seemed like, all the time.
Feels like it. The fact that I can remember her name. I mean, she played the same character, I think, on every appearance, too, which is different than Florence Henderson, who played different characters each time she showed up on the Love Boat. So I'm going to give her the win. Charo gets the win on that one. Thank you, John. I do have another super chat I got to get to. Let's see here. This one is from Joseph Ryan, who says, somehow my mom found a Street Hawk action figure in the 80s, but from what I can tell, they were only sold outside of the U.S. Know anything about this? Junkman, I'm going to rely upon your expertise here. First off, Street Hawk, excellent show. Rex Smith, loved that. Loved it. But I wasn't aware of any merchandise. So, Junkman, how about you?
Actually, I was going to pull a picture. When I sent you those pictures, Street Hawk was one of the ones I pulled, and I took it off. Now I wish I left it on there. I know they did a couple of motorcycles and stuff. It wasn't a real long, much of a line, but they did do a car. I think they were sold in the U.S. I'll have to double check, but I think very limited. I don't think they were in many stores. If they
didn't show it or sell it in the U.S., they really missed the boat, because that show for a period of time, a year or so, was a lot of kids were talking about it at school.
Yeah, it was popular. It went away really fast, but it was popular. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the super chat, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Pure dynamite! Dynamite!
It's dynamite. You're the best, Joseph. Thank you so much. I truly do appreciate both of you for your support. So you sent me some other pictures. How do you want to do?
You can just throw them up randomly, I guess. I was trying to think of maybe toys people didn't know, could remember about. So
yeah, let's pull them up, since these are all based on television shows, and talk a little bit about the shows or the toys themselves. So what immediately comes to my mind here when I look at this one, Junkman, is it's coming out of a Christmas catalog.
Yes.
And holy cow, that was like in September or even late August when that Christmas catalog was released, whether it was Sears, JCPenney, or Montgomery Ward. That was like almost as good as Christmas itself, because it meant I could spend hours and hours just kind of oogling all the good stuff in the catalog. How about you?
Oh, I would lay down. My grandma would always get them, and I would circle what I wanted for Christmas, put a big X through anything. I was like, please don't get me this. If it was a doll from Little Over Nanny or something, I was like, no, don't get me this, and circle everything. And I didn't have I had that. Well, my brother had the SWAT van, and it was the coolest SWAT van. I mean, it made the siren noise and was spinning circles and everything, and it was really fun. I only think I realized when I was little there was a SWAT TV show. I don't remember watching the show until about the 80s when I catch it on reruns.
You were smarter than me. I would circle the things I wanted, but I didn't go as far as to X out the things I absolutely didn't want.
No, I learned my lesson a couple of times. Like, do not get me some of this stuff.
I knew there was a SWAT TV show only because I don't know if you remember that theme music, but the SWAT theme music was phenomenal.
Definitely.
Okay, let's see. And here, holy cow. Now this is where I struggle. I don't know whether I call this a policewoman doll or a policewoman action figure. What do you do with the girl, with the feminine?
I call these are kind of Mego size. If you know Mego, the toy company.
Yeah.
To me, they're always dolls. People debate, well, they're figures, but anything that doll always, it's just easier to say doll. They look like a doll. But Police Woman's not a show either I remember much in the 70s until I got older. But I was just surprised when I found out they did make Police Woman. Another show didn't seem very, nowadays they sell a lot of toys made for adults. But
I wouldn't think that one would appeal to a lot of kids. I certainly remember it. It starred Angie Dickinson, who's still with us in her 90s. That's awesome. But I can't imagine that one had. You've got another one here. Let's show this one now. This is another one that I didn't know Kojak appealed to kids, but I do remember there was do you remember Power Records, Junkman? These dramatic. Yeah. It was a subsidiary of Peter Pan Records, and they were kids dramatizations of like $6 Million Man and superheroes and Planet of the Apes. They had a Kojak one, so. Clearly, there must have been some folks out there that felt that there was a market for those toys with kids.
Yeah, and it's not a very good looking Telly Savalas that figure or whatnot right there. They actually did like 2 or 3 different ones, and there's a board game too of
I think I remember that. I do like the fact that it comes with lollipops and a cigar. That's a nice touch. Very nice touch. All right, what else do we got here? This is a struggle I had. And before I put it on the screen, I remember the Buck Rogers in the 25th century figures that came out. And I was always disheartened by how, Buck Rogers, Wilma Deering and Princess Ardala, these were sexy ladies.
Yeah.
They were true space babes, if you will. And then you would see the action figure and there'd be nothing space baby about them. They'd be quite masculine, brawny looking characters. And the same holds true with this. This is the Love Boat collection. And Julie, oh my goodness, and Vicky, they both look a little, what can I say? They look a little, well, they're not that attractive in the dolls here.
They're pretty ugly. Give me a second. My battery was dying.
You're back. Yeah.
Okay. If I go black again, my charge, for some reason, when I plug the camera in, it doesn't work, and I have to switch the batteries out. So.
Oh, no worries. If you have to go black for a minute or two, we're absolutely fine.
They actually did a Love Boat play set for those figures too.
Did they really? Is this like Playmates? Do you know who the company was?
Mego. I think it was Mego.
Was it Mego? Mego did the Love
Boat?
Yeah,
that was after they turned down the Star Wars license and regretted it. They started cranking out almost everything they could after Star Wars, hoping for that next hit.
Yeah. They really blew it with that. And I'm surprised because, Mego did like Star Trek and Planet of the Apes. Star Wars would have been a perfect addition to their lineup. I'm really surprised they passed on that, but that was a blunder of just ginormous proportions.
Well, the reports are that Lucasfilm went to them and they said they would go bankrupt if they made a toy line to every B movie that came out.
Yeah.
And then of all the ones that turned down, and then before that they did the Waltons action figure line.
Oh, the adventures to have with the Waltons. One of my favorite shows, but it wasn't one of those shows that really like sparked my imagination to go out and play. That was the $6 Million Man. That was Star Trek. Those were the kind of figures that I wanted to play with. By the way, I'll share you my. This is not an original. This is an Amigo knockoff. But
I saw those today at Walmart, and that's the first time I've seen them at the store.
Yeah. One of my favorite toys that I ever got was an original Amigo one in the box like this. They went to blister packs later on.
Yeah.
But My
Yeah, I
friend
think I
Danny
was
State
Spider-Man.
sent me that, and thank you again, Danny. It's
That's
a
pretty cool.
treasure. Yeah, they're very, very cool. Let's later on I have a commercial about this, but let's show this up on the screen. The Bonanza action figures. You can't beat that.
No, they look really good for the. I mean, this was late '60s, and they look really good details too for that time period.
Right. The faces look really good on those.
Yeah.
Bodies look a little odd, and just in the but the faces really do look good. And like I said, I'll share a commercial in just a little bit that has those figures in it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about them till I was doing a video, and I came across them, and I did a whole video on them because they even got. It was a little before my time, those figures, but I was amazed at how good they looked.
They are very cool. And then, of course, the emergency paramedic kit and the firehouse looks like that's actually the toys, isn't it? The vehicles.
Yeah, this is more of a rack toy, and they did a whole bunch of these. They actually had a doll or action figure line, also kind of the big ones, also emergency.
And this is exactly what you're talking about with those spinner rack toys.
Yeah.
I mean, they really have very little to do with it, particularly if you look at the paramedic kit. I mean, that was probably originally some other branded toy that they rebranded for emergency.
Yeah, there's one that's a rack toy like that. It's Love Boat, but it's a barber set, and it comes with a hairbrush and scissors. And I was like, I've never even seen anybody on Love Boat get a haircut. That's probably one of the best.
Funny. Love Boat barber set. Oh, and then you've got your MASH action figures. I don't remember these. I can honestly say I don't remember MASH.
Yeah, they didn't sell too well. They didn't last long.
Yeah.
And there was a play set, the MASH 401 play set that was it's pretty awesome. Comes with a tent and everything.
Well, I look at them and I think that would have been something that maybe not then, but now as I look at it, I think those are pretty cool. Those are
I don't know how many kids were into buying MASH stuff, and he even had Klinger in his girl outfit, if you know.
Right, little pink, whatever that is.
And
you got your Vegas binoculars. I'm sure these got rebranded.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
as a bunch of different shows.
I'm sure it did.
Good old Robert Urich. What else do we got? We showed the Welcome Back Cotter. One more here. We got the Magnum PI car and action figure. So that's a plus.
This is my holy grail. I've been wanting this ever since I found out about it. But they go for about $500-$600 if you can find it.
Well, that's pretty impressive. And I'm guessing you'll want that in a box just like that, not just.
I would take them both. I would take it loose. Just I'm a big Magnum PI fan, so it would look good sitting back here to have Magnum in his car. So LJN did that. And they did an ad in the magazine as a big ad, but they call him Dan Magnum. I was like, how could they do a misprint and call him Dan Magnum?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone in the world. I mean, it just sounds wrong to even say it out loud.
Yeah,
Dan
it was like get the new Dan Magnum. I was like, okay.
I don't know.
No wonder it didn't sell too good. You can't even get the name right.
So I grabbed 3 images, and this is mine, and then I'll ask you yours.
Okay.
The 3 toys that, as I think back to my, like maybe between 8 and 12, the 3 toys I wish I'd gotten, but my parents never bought me for birthdays, Christmas, or anything else. The first one, speaking of Mego, was this thing. I had some of the action figures, the Star Trek action figures, but I really wanted this mainly for that spin action transporter. I don't know if you remember seeing the commercials for this, but you'd spin that and then the character would disappear, and you'd spin it and the character would come back. It just,
I loved it. My brother had it, and I played with it all the time. I loved it. It was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here's another one. My folks they couldn't rationalize buying this for me. I guess I don't, because I never got it, but I really wanted it. Do you remember these things?
Oh yeah, I've got one right above my head.
Where is it? Let me see that. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And which one is that? Branded $6 Million Man, or
that's
is
the
it
Star Wars one?
That's the Star Wars.
And
one.
I have
remember the Star Wars one. They actually started out, I believe, as Fisher Price movie viewers. So they were branded for, or they were geared and targeted for a younger audience. But then Star Wars, the $6 Million Man came out, and then they started rebranding them. And
I had a
really
$6 Million Man cartridge. I got an Alien too. It's odd they did one for Alien, because that's really not. Yeah, that's really not a kid. You know,
so
they
I do remember. So I had a black and white. I had a movie projector, a Super 8 movie projector as a kid. That was something my folks did buy me, and so I ended up taking the cartridge that was here, buying one of those. I think I got it on sale at the store where they were clearancing them out, and it was just a couple bucks. So I bought those, cracked open the cartridge, and it was just a Super 8 film inside.
Yeah.
And then I'd put it on its own reel and watched it through the projector.
My brother did the same thing with the $6 Million Man one.
There you go.
I don't know why, because we had the crank, but he just wanted to break it open, I guess, and see if it would work.
Right. Experiment a little bit. See, there you go. We're miles, thousands of miles apart doing the same dang thing.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone else thought to break it apart.
No, I did.
Yeah.
And then this thing. Oh, all the other kids wanted the football and the basketball, but I wanted this one right here.
Oh.
The Battlestar Galactica Space Alert game by Mattel. Never got that thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to see them. They won't, but I'd love to see that one reproduced for nostalgic purposes.
Well, retro's really big right now, so you never know.
Yeah. Mattel or whoever's making those things, make me one of those.
Yeah. I mean, they brought back the electronic football handheld that everybody had back then.
I think the baseball ball has been brought back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple that have been brought back. So, Junkman, I gave you fair warning. Getting you on the live stream tonight is a real treat for me, and that means that I want to ask you a few questions and learn more about you. So there's a part of my live stream that I like to call a few of my favorite things, and when I say my favorite things, I mean your favorite things. So I'm going to ask you to share a little bit with us, and since this is a channel that focuses more on TV and that kind of things, these questions are geared that way, but feel free to share any toy memories along the way if you'd like to. First question is, what is your favorite nostalgic TV show and why?
That's a tough one, because I like watching a lot of the old stuff, which is, I know I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I've tried to go back and watch some of the 80s stuff, and it doesn't hold up as much as the 70s. I can still watch Andy Griffiths on the black and white stuff, and one of my go-tos is always, before I was even born, was the Honeymooners. I think I can watch every episode of the Honeymooners over and over again. So it's mostly those older shows like that, and mostly 70s. 70s is a really good time.
I totally agree with you. 70s was just a really good time. The stuff from the 50s and 60s, the black and white stuff like Griffith and the Honeymooners and Leave It to Beaver, it's timeless, right? It doesn't feel dated, but it just feels like because it's black and white, and there's this element to it that's timeless. But the 70s stuff, it does feel like it's kind of from the 70s, but the entertainment there, it packs a punch. I love 70s sitcoms and dramas.
Yeah, I think they were really smart written shows, jokes. I started watching Taxi again a couple years ago, because when I was a little, Taxi was over my head.
Yeah.
And I liked Laka, and Jim. That was about it. But now I'm like, man, this is really good writing for a show.
It really is. It was a well done comedy. So, favorite actor or actress from a TV show?
You sent me this one. It took me a while to think about this one, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Jonathan Harris.
Oh,
he would just pop up on stuff besides Lost in Space. But I remember he was on Sanford or Son one time, and some other. He would just pop up, and whenever he popped up, it's just something about the way he talked, and he was just so over the top. Sometimes I just loved him.
He was a Shakespearean trained ham. I mean, this guy just chewed up whatever he was in. I mean, it wasn't Lost in Space was not meant to be the Dr. Smith show, but it certainly turned into the Will and Dr. Smith show as time went on. And
definitely,
he was a lot of fun. I'm a big Jonathan Harris fan as well. He showed up in the 70s on a lot of the Saturday morning live action shows on CBS, like Arc 2 and some of the other shows that way. So he very versatile actor and very consummate professional. Took a lot of pride in it.
If you find any videos on YouTube of him on talk shows, he's very entertaining on them also.
I have not done that. I'll have to check it out. Was there a particular TV program that brought the whole Junkman family together when you were a kid?
I might have to go with Sanford and Son because I can remember going to my mom and dad's, my grandparents' house, and they loved Sanford and Son. My parents did too, but just over there, if it was on, they would, even when it was reruns in the 80s, and nothing would make my grandpa, I don't think, laugh. That and Barney Fife was the two things that would make him laugh the most. But and I went back and watched Sanford and Son not too long ago, and we'll talk about 70 shows that hold up. There's a lot of stuff you wouldn't even do today, and it's still really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a show that if it were to be produced today, it'd be dramatically different.
Yeah.
And for the worse. I mean, I think I am all for diversity and inclusion and all those kind of things, but there was from a storytelling standpoint and from an ability to really get a message across, a valuable, important message, there was no better than Red Fox to say something nutty or crazy to really kind of hammer home a point.
And even if he was kind of racist or
right
at times, it was, you kind of knew that he loved you more than he was. You kind of knew that more than he was letting on. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Most vivid TV memory.
That's a tough one there. I guess it's me and my brother both. I was real little, so it's a little foggy, but I remember us getting excited. I don't know why, for the Star Wars holiday special. And we could not wait till school got out so we could get home. And I can remember sitting in front of that TV like hour before it came on and had to sit through the news and had to sit through all this stuff. And we were just, I don't know, maybe you know, but kids today probably don't. Like, we fell in love with Star Wars, and anything you fell in love with, if you got a glimpse in a commercial or a making of special, because that was the only time you got to see it if you wasn't at the theater. So it blew your mind away. So just watching that and seeing Star Wars stuff. I know it's horrible now watching it, but at the time it was a masterpiece.
Yeah. I mean, it was a time of, most people didn't have VCRs. Only the most uber wealthy had VCRs that was 78 or 77. I can't remember.
78.
So most folks didn't have VCRs at that point. And so to be able to watch Star Wars at home, even in that format, the variety show format, it was something. I was so excited as well. And I also knew I knew in advance that we were going to be introduced to a new character, Boba Fett. I was aware that was going to be happening. And so I was so excited for that. And I did not love the animation style of that little cartoon.
It's kind of,
but that was cool. And there were a handful of things that were cool. Ultimately, I'm glad it exists and that it's out there. And I've made a video actually defending that holiday special.
Ooh, that's hard to do.
Yeah, but it's tough, right? I mean, there's things that I love and I can look at and still say, not good. I love it, but it's not good.
Yeah, I had memories of it till probably the early 90s, and I bought it on the internet, a bootleg copy of it, and I couldn't wait, slammed it in, and I was like, yeah. I mean, the first 20 minutes are just Wookiees growling at each other.
Yeah.
If nobody's watching, it's on YouTube. Just go try.
What? A Wookiee named Lumpy? Come on.
It's just somebody was on some drugs, whoever made that.
Yeah, Bruce, what's his name? Bruce Valanche is the guy that was the writer of that darn thing. And clearly he's more adept at creating variety shows than anything that's akin to Star Wars.
Yes. I mean, well, you have to put yourself in the time period. Everybody had a variety show back then.
Yeah, exactly. Away from YouTube and retro toy collecting, what do you enjoy doing most?
Is there anything else to do? I got a real job, and then I make 2 videos a day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that keeps you busy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my kids are getting older now. My daughter just finished college, and my son's getting close to the end of high school. So it's mostly honestly I just work, and then there's not as much on TV I like to watch, so I'm just making videos.
Dude, you and I are in exactly the same place. I think I'm a few years older than you, but I started a few years later too. I've got kids in, all of them are out of high school now and are all in the college age, and trying to get them through college right now is a lot of fun. And yeah, making videos, it's kind of the escape. It's the way to relax and just have a good time.
People say, "Why you make 2 a day?" I was like, "It's either that or sit in front of the TV and I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch that." Or,
Yeah.
I only can watch Star Trek so many times.
Yeah. I'll do, you know what? Once you start creating videos, you do have this kind of little voice in your head when you're sitting down to watch something that says, you know, you could be more productive. You could be making a video right now. And sometimes I'll ignore it though. Sometimes it's just important to go out there and try to remember that the reason we're doing these things is because we were entertained in the past. And
there's been some where I forced a topic because I just felt like I had to make a video, and I'm like, I can tell watching this video it's not up to the Junkman standards. Sometimes it's good just to take a break. And
love it. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take care of some sponsors. I've got some vintage sponsors that I need to take care of. Give you a chance, give me a chance. It's about 2 minutes long, Junkman, if you need to do something real quick. And then when I come back, let's give away a copy of Retro Fan Magazine to someone. And then let's open it up to questions for you or me. But let's do a little Q&A. So
sounds good.
Couple minutes and we'll be right back, folks. Let me find the videos and we'll bring them on. Here we go.
And now, these messages.
The Cartwrights, the greatest Western toys ever. Little Joe, fastest left-handed draw in the West. Ben, the toughest pioneer who ever rode the plains. And Hoss, always ready for a good fight. You can even get the Outlaw, the meanest desperado you ever saw.
Watch out! He's getting away! Hit him, Hoss! Pow! You got him!
And you can get the trailblazing 4-in-1 Bonanza wagon. Each Cartwright comes complete with over a dozen accessories. Each horse has action hooves. You can buy Little Joe's Pinto, Hoss's Stallion, and Ben's Big Buckskin. The action men from Bonanza will put you right in the Wild West. By American Character, the hottest brand around.
They're the A-Team. You know they're soldiers of fortune. They're the A-Team. Helping people in need. Pretend that you're Hannibal, Murdoch or Face, or maybe D.A. Baracus. You know which one is Ace. Each is sold separately with rifle and gear. If there's trouble to face, you know the A-Team's here. They're the A-Team. The A-Team. Hannibal, Face, Murdoch, and D.A. Baracus. Each is sold separately from Krona Toys.
Now you can imagine all the power in the universe. The Masters of the Universe collection. 23 pieces, each sold separately. There's He-Man and these heroic action figures. Skeletor and the Warriors of Evil, and 4 fighting creatures. Castle Grayskull, Point Dread, and the Talon Fighter. You put them together. And battle machines like the Attack Track, batteries not included. What would you do with all the power in the universe? He-Man, Skeletor, and all other items from the Masters of the Universe collection, each sold separately. From Mattel.
All right.
There's some good commercials there.
Yeah, I love that A-Team theme song there.
Yeah, that theme song was good.
All right. So I don't know if you're familiar with Retro Fan Magazine, Junkman, but these guys are incredible. There's a couple of magazines that I partner with. One of them is Remind Magazine, and that's a great magazine. But this magazine, Retro Fan, is like a deep dive into a lot of really fun topics. They cover toys. They cover everything. And this is the January 2023 issue. It's the one that they're shipping out to subscribers right now. And the good folks over at Retro Fan Magazine have said that we can do a drawing tonight, and whoever is the winner, they'll ship out a copy of this magazine. Retail price, if you were to go track this down in some bookstores, something like that, $10.95. So not an inexpensive magazine, but once you get this in your hands and look at it, folks, you will agree that it's worth twice that much. So, speaking of Lost in Space, we've got Angela Cartwright and Bill Mumy on the cover of this particular issue. So I noticed a few folks who have already started putting in a hashtag into the chat. Let me go ahead and share my screen Let's see. There we go. So what I need you to do, I noticed a bunch of folks did hashtag retro. Go back in there and type in hashtag retro fan. That's what we're looking for tonight. So get that in there. And I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to get hashtag retro fan into it and then into the chat. And then I'll go ahead and click on that draw button. Last drawing of the 2022 year. And like I said, I am excited to get my hands on this copy. I haven't got it yet. I'm looking forward to the Lost in Space article. There's also an interview with Tony Dow, the late Tony Dow, and Jerry Mathers. There's a bunch of good stuff in this particular issue of the magazine. We've got 21 entries, folks. You got about 10 seconds to get that hashtag retrofan into the chat. All right. We've got 23. I'd love to see 20. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, let's wait until we have 25 entries in. Let me go ahead and click the draw button, and we'll see who our winner is tonight. John Heisler is our winner. Congratulations. That is awesome. I must promise you are going to love this magazine. The way that I'm going to get out to you is you need to send me at this email address right here, bottom left corner. Send me your address. If you're not in the U.S., I must say I'll have to find something to send you. Otherwise, they can only ship to, I believe it's the domestic U.S. But if you are outside of the 48, is it contingent states? Then we'll find something else to send you. But and if for any reason I take this off the screen and you haven't had a chance to write it down, Sean, you can always just go back and reverse the live stream and you can go to the point where I have this on the screen. So I'm going to take that off the screen. Don't want to let any of those spammers and troll bots and all those things that are out there get hold of my email addresses, which is why I, by the way, don't say it out loud. So let me take that off the screen and let me take this off the screen. Congratulations, Sean Heisler. That is awesome. Now, as I said, question and answer time. It's not often that, I don't bring on guests every week anymore to the live stream. And so it's a treat when we do have someone, and it's a treat when we have someone who's as prolific of YouTube creator and really kind of, there's just so many commonalities, things that we have in common in terms of the videos that we create. So it's fun to have Junkman with us. I'm going to go over to the comment section so I can bring up any questions that might be had. What I would say is if you have a question for Junkman, please go ahead and put like a couple question marks in front of it in the chat so that I can immediately identify it as a question. So let me go ahead and let's pull this up on the screen for just a second or more. Folks, I'd love to know or love to see your questions for Junkman this evening. And I'll start it out. Earlier, Junkman, I shared 3 things that I wanted that never got for Christmas. Can you think of something that you really wanted but never got?
I'm going to sound spoiled because I can't think of anything top of my head. I know that there was in the Star Wars line, there was what they call the Star Destroyer playset. Me and my brother both wanted it for Christmas. My grandma spoiled us at Christmas time, whatever we wanted. We had almost everything for the Star Wars line, but we couldn't find that one anywhere. And honestly, out of all the playsets they've done, it's kind of probably one of the crappy ones that's usually on anybody's top 5 worst playsets. So I don't feel like I missed anything now.
Yeah, you dodged the bullet with that one.
Yeah. And really, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think. Like I said,
awesome.
I guess I was
That's
spoiled.
Awesome.
I'll block it from my head because I didn't get it probably.
I can't remember who said it in the chat, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it was Gary or someone else, but someone mentioned that they got 1 year for Christmas, just a Christmas card from their parents. So
Man.
I feel spoiled as well. I never just got, despite my song about getting an orange in the stocking, we always were treated well by our parents.
And I'll give a shout out to Weed in the Garden, because
Yeah.
that's one of my, I know him, so I saw his name pop up, so I just want to give
I
him a shout
kind of
out.
suspected that he was from your community, as when he came on board, or they came on board, they immediately said, "Hey, Junkman." So welcome, good to have you with us, Weed in the Garden. Here's a question from Emily Miller, one of my community members. She says, "Where does Junkman hail? Where do you hail from, good sir?"
Georgia. If you can't
Georgia.
tell by the accent, it's in the South. But yep, all my life.
Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Here's another one. From Kevin Davis says, "Did you have any Battlestar Galactica toys like the Viper that actually shot the torpedo?"
I did. I had some of the figures, just one or two. I was always the kind of kid, once I got locked into something, that was it. Star Wars. That's all I bought was Star Wars. I mean, I had a few things here and there, but it was Star Wars. And then I moved over to He-Man.
Okay.
And it was just, I didn't care about nothing else. I wanted He-Man. So I know some kids I talked to, they had Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars. And so it was mostly, that was my focus. So
Your parents probably appreciated that you kind of stuck with one thing for a period of time.
yeah, it probably made it a little easier. Well, that's how I got into He-Man, because I'll never forget December. It was Christmas 1984, I think, or 83.
Sounds right.
And I was into Star Wars, and it had to be 84. And then they forced He-Man on me. Santa Claus forced He-Man on me. And because before that, I was like, I don't care about He-Man. I like Star Wars. And then I just went into a whole He-Man world after that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dominic D says that Kojak doll might take the prize, but what do you think is the strangest toy in your collection, Junkman?
In my collection. Oh, that's gonna take my weird. I would have to think about that. One on top of my head is probably the Star Wars tote box. If you can see it back there, you put your 45 records in it.
Oh yeah,
I like the oddball. I'm getting more into the oddball stuff, but I like.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got from Mexican Spec says, of the three machines, is Ms. Pac-Man your favorite?
Yes. This is out of almost all the machines. I love Miss Pac-Man. And I'm pretty dang good at it too, so I challenge anyone. I'm not like one of them experts you see on YouTube that can like do, but I can hold my own. I do pretty good.
Love it. Let's see. Look at the Weed in the Garden's answering questions for you. There you go. They know where you're from. John Collins says, "Why are you called Junkman? And what is your favorite artifact that you own?"
Why am I called Junk? Okay, I'll take a minute. I started out my YouTube channel. Well, I started out Twitter as Star Wars Junk, because my ex-wife would always say, "Oh, don't buy more Star Wars junk." And I couldn't think, everything was taken, so I just did Star Wars Junk, and I would just tweet out pictures of Star Wars junk. Right. Then I did the YouTube channel. It was mostly Star Wars stuff, and then one time I said, I got to change this. So I already had the junk. So I said, okay, well, I'll call myself Junkman. But there is, when I was growing up at my grandparents' house, they bought me most of the toys, me and my brother. We kept a lot of toys over there. And she had a back room. We used to call it the junk room. And that's where we kept, anytime, just let you like, go look in the junk room or put that back in the junk room. So it kind of comes full circle where it has kind of a nostalgia thing, Junkman and junk room. I call this the junk room now. So it kind of worked out that way as being a little nostalgia too, but also just because I didn't want to be Star Wars junk.
That junk room sounds pretty darn magical.
Yeah.
Time Lord says, the Junkman. Hard to see everything behind you, but do you have any Star Trek memorabilia that you love or admire the most?
It's hard to see, but I do have a Mego Spock right there in the blue shirt.
I can see it. Yep.
Yes. I've got most of my love for Star Trek is Next Generation. I'm a big Next Generation fan. So I have like all the 90s figures and stuff. But I like anything Star Trek too. But yeah, I like that Mego. I'm actually one of my best friends. That was his childhood toy, and he just gave it to me. He's like, here. He said, I want something good to happen. I don't want to just throw it away. So okay, well, I'll put it in the background so you can see it in the video.
That's awesome. Well, and he knew that Spock was going to home where he'd be loved.
Yes.
Al Duarte says, Junkman, what's the oldest toy that you have, and what's the toy from the oldest TV show that you have?
Oldest toy. Now that's probably 70s. I mean, most of my stuff is Star Wars, you can see, except the Dukes of Hazzard card back there and stuff. So it's mostly 70s stuff. I don't, most of my collection is Star Wars related. So I don't really have much from TV unless you mentioned the Star Trek Spock is the early 70s, but I think that's about it.
Okay. So oldest stuff is the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
from
Star
like
Wars, the Spock Mego, I guess.
Spock Mego would have been 75, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, early mid 70s.
Yep. Okay. Thrash Pondo Ponds, who by the way will be having a live stream, folks, after this one. It's he likes to call it the after party. So if you haven't had your fill after you're done hanging out with Junkman and myself, well, go hang out with Thrash Pondo afterwards. Easy to find his channel again. Just you can either click on his name in the chat, and that'll take you right to his channel, or you can type his name in the search box on YouTube, and he's always a lot of fun to hang out with. So let's see. Thrash Pondo's asking, what toy or toy set did you have as a kid that you wish you still had?
Ooh, I could be here all day.
What's the one that really kills you that is gone?
The one that really kills me, this is going to be so odd too. Tomy made it. I think that's how you pronounce Tomy. I can never. It was a little thin piece of plastic that was a maze with a BB inside of it. It's just a cheap toy, and you would roll it around. I can remember playing with it. I had two of them, and it had 3 balls. You had to get to one side to the other. I can remember playing with this thing for years, and I couldn't even think of the name of it. And for years, I would ask people. No one knew I was talking about. And I finally, just earlier this year, found out what it was called, who made it. Because I figured it was just some generic maze. Right. And I looked on eBay, and they're going for like $60, $70. And I was like, I can't pay that much for this little thing. And that's the one thing I was like, oh, I just want to bring that back. I just want to play with it one more time before I die.
I remember those.
You do? Okay. I'm glad someone else remembers them.
I remember I don't know if my folks had it or if I was sitting in a pew with a neighbor and a friend, like at church, but we were always given toys to shut up with, Yeah,
it's a good show.
It's quiet.
It was a good car toy too.
Yeah.
We didn't have an iPad, so it was a good car toy. That and the invisible ink pen was always a good.
Oh yeah.
Ink pad.
Oh, yeah. Danny Staten says you guys are neighbors. He's in South Carolina. That's right. Let's see. Okay, Zuperplex says, what's the first toy that you can remember?
First toy I can remember getting is, I've talked about it before, is going into Zayres. I don't know how many people there remember Zayres. Going in there, seeing the Star Wars, again, I'm Star Wars stuff. I can see it still in my head. And me and my brother each could get one figure, and he got Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I wanted Han Solo. And my brother was a little older than me, was like, I would get C-3PO. That's the coolest one. And then I wanted to be cool. Hey, I got the cool one. Well, he wanted to get Han Solo later. And then I got stuck with C-3PO. There was nothing wrong with him, but
no,
it's not as heroic Han Solo or Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, not as heroic as Luke or Han.
Yeah, and then I got who he told me, nobody cares about that one. I was like, oh. So he suckered me into it.
Tom Lemery just wants to know what your favorite Christmas song is.
Oh, favorite Christmas song. I don't know if anybody here remembers this. Ray Stevens song, Santa Claus is Watching You. I think that's the one as a kid. Just made me laugh. I don't know if anybody knows that.
I think I've heard that one on Dr. Demento before.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, that's a good one. Emily Miller, not a question, but we'll put it on the screen just because not that I relate, but I can be empathetic. Is that how you say it? Try being a 9-year-old girl in 77 and a Star Wars fan. I wasn't too popular with the other girls.
Well, I wish I knew you. I didn't know any girls really in this.
That's right. You were the cool one, Emily.
Yeah.
You were the cool one.
Yeah, it might have been.
Do you own any Shogun Warriors, Junkman?
My brother had one that was, I can't think of their names. It was the big one that had the arm that shot the rockets off. Maybe somebody in the chat room knows his name. That's another thing I would love to have now. And I remember playing with that. He had a big plastic one that was about this tall, and I had a little metal one that looked like a little figure, and I don't know his name, but They were pretty awesome, and I wish I still had them.
Parker Luck, what's that? Matt Bird says, what was your favorite He-Man figure besides He-Man?
Oh, besides, that's a good question too. Probably Trapjaw. He's the Boba Fett of the He-Man line. I don't know why you think about it. Yeah, Trapjaw.
Very cool. Very cool.
And just to let you know, I have He-Man right there getting eaten up by a shark.
Yes, I can see
I don't know
it.
how good y'all can see that. But.
Mexican Spec, not a question, but does say Super Pac-Man is my machine. Boy, did I love Super
was a good
Pac-Man too. I love
that
one.
Game. This one has Super Pac-Man. It's 3 games in one.
Yeah, and Galaxian, right?
It's it's that later version of it.
Is it Galaga?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the good one where you get the 2 ships. Remember that?
Right. No, it is Galaxian then. Galaxian was first, and then Galaga, the good one where you could get the second ship and like have good firepower.
That's the one I thought it was until I got it. And I was like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, that one really, Galaxian's more like just color Space Invaders. That's really all it feels like.
Yeah.
Emily Miller wants to know if you're still on Twitter. I know they answered this.
Oh my God.
Answer.
I got Kenner Toys on Twitter. I got that Junkman on Twitter. I've got now Rack Toys on Twitter. And I'm on Twitter way too much.
He's all over the freaking place.
I'm always on Twitter. Just be careful.
Emily says she had a junk room too. Let's see if I can find another question here. The chat kind of got away from me here. Let's see. Tracy Rothmeyer says she loved Saturday Night Fever in '77. I don't remember a lot of toys from Saturday Night Fever. Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, let's see. And Kevin Davis says mom got rid of all the toys. So did my mom. She was a notorious purger. Love her to death. But
that's why they're worth so much money today, because our parents got rid of them all.
Let me see if I can find any more questions here. Here we go. John Collins is asking, do you enjoy the television program, The Toys That Built America on the History Channel? Have you ever watched that?
I still hadn't watched it yet.
So good.
Yeah, I
highly recommend it.
The Toys That Made Us. I think it's on Netflix. I've watched that one, but I haven't watched the Build America one yet.
Yeah, they I just watched the one on Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It's great.
And you probably can relate. Sometimes it's like people ask me what YouTube I watch, what toy channels. I was like, I'm researching videos, making videos, and when I go to YouTube to relax, I'm not looking at anything toy.
That's right. Yep. The channels I stumble across, like yours, for example, are when I'm doing research.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Anything else? Here's what I'm going to do. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to throw a question out to the group before we go. And that is simply this, folks. What was your favorite toy that was based on a TV show or movie? I'm going to look in the comments and we'll put them all up on the screen. And Junkman, if any of these ring a bell to you, go ahead and feel free to add. Let's see. Favorite toy based on a TV show or movie. I'm not sure this is based on that question, but I'm going to put it on the screen anyway. The A-Team toy rifle set.
It's a pretty cool set. That's pretty cool.
Let's see. Custom God says that you watch the Analog Toys channel. Okay. Don't know that. Is that a true fact?
Let's just say they don't like me too much.
Okay.
I think somebody knows that.
There might be an inside joke there.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Oh, did you get any trading cards from any TV shows? Were you a collector of trading cards?
I remember getting, of course, Star Wars. Sorry to go back to Star Wars. Kiss. Me and my brother used to collect Kiss.
I had those too.
Yeah, I had Raiders of the Lost Ark. I did do a video on TV. Did a TV show. I did a video on trading cards I didn't know they make. I didn't know they made Gong Show, and they made a bunch of really crazy ones.
Right in the late 70s. Late 70s.
Yeah, everybody was
getting trading cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I collected them through Batman '89, and then I think that was the last collect I said I really collected seriously.
In the early '90s, I started getting back into cards there for a while. I had a little run for about a year getting into them again, but they took the bubble gum out.
Yeah. Emily says that she had Mork and his egg. That was a favorite toy of hers.
I like that one. That one's hard to find. That one's worth some money. I thought about trying to track that one down. I had it too.
Paul says XL5. I don't know what an XL5 is. Is that
Extra
that little
large?
toy robot that you inserted cartridges in like an 8-track tape? It might be.
I might have to see that. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Planet of the Apes tree set. Okay, that was probably Amigo toy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't remember a tree set.
Yep.
Top of my head.
They had a bunch of toys that went with those Planet of the Apes characters.
Yeah.
Let's see. Al Oduardi says the robot from Lost in Space. That would have been a cool toy to have.
Yes.
Hungry Jerk says the Corgi made USS Enterprise. Another cool toy.
They made really good stuff when they made.
Yeah, Corgi. Speaking of Corgi, yeah, this is beat up. This is my Corgi Batmobile from the late 60s. I was given at Christmas, and our dog has at one time as a kid, our dog chewed the heck out of it. So it's kind of beat up. I have a number of nice Batmobiles that have been either given me or that I've bought, but that one is, a treasure because one, it is a Corgi original, and two, it's the one I actually got for Christmas.
Yeah, it's nice when you still got some of the original stuff.
Yes. Mr. T action figures, another favorite memory. How can it not be?
Yeah,
I'm sure it came with the jewelry and everything. Dominic D says I had a Corgi James Bond car. Very cool. I remember those.
Yeah, I had one that had an ejection seat. You could pop out a little.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shoot out a little plastic toy.
Yep. Keith E had Soupy Cells trading cards. Now, I don't remember those.
I did not know he had cards.
Kevin Davis had Steve Austin, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Wars toys. Yeah, great stuff. Wajameen, Masters of the Universe. Yeah, those were so popular in mid-'80s, the Master of the Universe stuff. Did you ever have a Godzilla toy? That's a question from Gary Carpenter.
No, I've always wanted as a collector to get the one. Shogun Warriors made one that went with the Shogun Warriors line that was like this big, shot his fist off. Didn't know about it as a kid, but I would like to have it now.
Daily Dan, in other words, Danny Staten says my Space 1999 ships and figures. Those are cool.
Yeah, my brother had the ship and some of the figures, and it was awesome.
Dave Thomas says Star Trek, Kirk action figure. Dave Claroni, Maximus Prime. The Time Lord says USS Enterprise D by Diamond Select. This sounds like a fancy collector's version here.
Yeah, it's newer, but it's pretty cool.
Tracy Roth Myers had some Daleks from Doctor Who. Nicely done. What did they always say? Eliminate.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't watch Doctor Who.
Exterminate. That's what I think it was.
I was Blake 7, and no one else knows what I'm talking about.
Blake 7 was good. I remember Blake 7. I didn't love early Doctor Who, but I liked later years with Matt Smith. Some of the stuff that's
I've heard good things. I just ain't never got around to.
Star Trek Phaser. That would have been a cool toy. I remember those Star Trek Phaser and the communicators coming out and wanting them, but never getting them.
Yes, my brother had one. It shot a light beam out, but you put a little target in front of it, and it was shining like the Enterprise on the wall. It was always a lot of fun.
Very cool. Wow. Garbage Pail Kids were fun stickers. I remember those.
Yeah.
Speaking of stickers, wacky packages were delightful. I would put all over my school binders, that kind of thing. Al Odo already mentions the Batman trading cards. Yes, there were puzzles on the back and trivia and a number of different things that were on the back of those cards. So I think you're talking about the Topps Batman painted cards from the late 60s, early 70s. They were phenomenal. Mr. T action figure for Dave Claroni as well. Karen Lee had paper dolls from different shows. I remember my sister had the Family Affair paper dolls. I remember those, and I remember hiding them from her. I loved Family Affair, but I hated Mrs. Beasley. I don't know why. It just creeped me out.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
Little doll that was carried around and by Buffy, and so I would hide that. And I think I just hid her entire Family Affair paper dolls. Oh, Danny Staten says that he always wanted Bionic Bigfoot, but never got that one.
My brother had a lot of stuff. He's a little older, so he had a lot of that 70s stuff, and I love playing with it. I love to have one again.
Very cool. Do you remember along with the Bionic toys, the Steve Austin stuff? Do you remember the Evil Knievel toys from the 70s?
Oh, the wind up crank. That was my favorite. Crank up
Sir.
the motorcycle and it would shoot off. We had a rocket too that would shoot off. Yeah, it was.
I am reminded of that because down the road, Mattel, was it Mattel? Mattel was the one that did the $6 million man stuff.
Ideal.
That's right.
Ideal.
You're right. Ideal. They had a wind up $6 million man Bionic Bigfoot motorcycle race set. Now, why they're racing on motorcycles, I don't know, but I thought that was so cool. Kenneth Wilkinson says he used to have the TARDIS from Doctor Who and the sonic screwdriver. Very cool. The communicator for Dave Thomas, the Enterprise phone. That's okay.
I've never seen an Enterprise phone.
What it is, really. Nowadays, the Enterprise phone. $6 Million Man cards. Awesome. Sarita Abney had some Dukes of Hazzard stuff.
Yeah, I love some Dukes of Hazzard stuff.
Let's see. Yeah. Trying to see. John H. says, Kiss Meets the Phantom was on TV. Lots of kids were all of a sudden Gene Simmons for Halloween. Yes, indeed.
That's about as bad as the holiday special.
Yeah, it is. It's not good. And you know what? It's one of those things I think Gene and Paul look back on it now with a sense of it is what it is. It's part of our legacy. But it was just a mess. It was an absolute mess created by Hanna-Barbera. Ace and Pete were so messed up that most of the time they were using doubles and all sorts of things.
I was excited that night before it came on. I was ready for it.
So was I. John Collins says he had the beloved Knight Rider car with Michael Knight. It was so awesome. Name is, my dexterity isn't great. However, I have had to have that toy set. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't blame you. Battlestar Galactica model set for Rad Links 444. Hungry Jerk says had some Marsha Brady paper dolls. Okay. Tom, you are an incredible human being, dude. I love you so much. Parker Luck says my favorite toys based on TV shows were Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Trek, and Wars as well. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, do you remember the Star Trek utility belt set?
Yeah, I've seen pictures. I don't remember them like as I was little, but I've seen them since then.
Okay.
And they did a Star Wars one, had one also that George Lucas hated and demanded them be taken off the market.
Really?
They were only sold in Canada for a limited time, and then he found out. And
that's got to be a collector's item.
Yeah, they're rare, very rare. They're horrible looking too.
Tom Lemery's remembering that $6 Million Man action figure with the bionic eye. That was so cool that you could look through the bionic eye.
Yes. And I don't know if you remember, we had something called Pulse Man where you push the button and his heart would beat and you could see blood all go through his arm.
I remember that. Yes.
It was pretty awesome.
Let's see. Scrolling along here. Jason says, when I was a kid, we got presents after Christmas when everything went on sale. Smart parents.
Nice. But
yeah. My favorite was a plastic Godzilla with a fire stream coming out of his mouth. Very cool. Gary Carpenter had Batcopter and the Batmobile. Nice. Gary Carpenter also had a General Lee. Let's see. You remember this? Sean Heisler, our winner of the evening for the Retro Fan magazine, says Snafu, now called Screwball Scramble, is a great 80s game. Do you remember that game? I don't remember that.
No, maybe if I saw what it exactly was.
All right, let's see. I think there's a lot of comments here, and I'm going to love reading them later on. But in the spirit of efficiency, folks, tonight, I think we're going to call it good right there. Let me take that off the screen. What I'd love to do now, Junkman, is I know you introduced yourself at the beginning of the evening, but I would love to have you, as we kind of wind things up, tell folks about your channel once again so that they can go over and subscribe to your stuff as well.
Okay, and I'll plug this right here. Comes from junkmanmerch.com, where I have a bunch of t-shirts. If you like anything 70s and 80s, Star Wars or anything else I can legally get away with while skewing
Dude,
that
I
line.
needed to order that VHS tape one before Lucasfilm took or Disney
Yeah,
took it down. That one was
Yeah.
awesome looking.
I've got another one that's more like 80s shows, and no one's taking it down yet. So hopefully that one, Disney can be kind of.
They're the worst, right? They're the ones that got all the copyright laws changed so that it's like 100
Yeah.
years or whatever.
Yeah, so that one's gone, but you can still. There's some shirts they leave up and they don't mess with. So I don't know. It's always a gamble. Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes they do. But that's junkmanmerch.com, and I'll plug. We've got a podcast me and my buddy do now. We do it live stream like this, but then we put the audio up, and you can find it. And it's called Two Dinosaurs Outside of Tasty Freeze. Just search that wherever you.
Is it a separate channel, Junkman?
No, we do it on the live stream on my channel, and then I take that
Okay.
audio and put it up on a podcast form. So, because
what's
it's
it
like
called
3 or 4
again?
hours. What's that?
What's it called again?
Two Dinosaurs Outside of Tasty Freeze.
Two dinosaurs outside of Tasty
We
Freeze.
just wanted to come up with something that would trigger your mind and be like, "What is this?"
Love it.
So it's usually about 3 or 4 hours on the live stream. So we're like, most people probably gonna rather listen to it. So we take the audio, but you can watch the video too. But if you got a podcast app, you should be able to find it on there. And then back 2 videos a day, noon and 8, Monday through Friday. Weekends is random, but it's usually toys, movies, TVs. Like he said, the good stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is the good stuff. I truly do. I'm glad as I was doing my research that I stumbled across your channel. Feels like years ago now. So you do great work. And clearly, you know what? Here's the thing. There are channels out there, particularly in our area, kind of like the nostalgic stuff, where you can tell some people are just doing it to make money. And then there are channels where you can tell people are doing it. The creators are doing it because they love what they're talking about. They love the communities that they're creating. And that is clearly something that you're doing, Junkman. So keep up the good work. And thank you so much for joining us this evening on the live stream.
Well, it's good to talk about stuff. There's other channels too that talk about what they hate all the time, just like every video is about what and it's good. It's good to just come on and hear someone else like y'all like your channel talk about something they like instead of how it is on YouTube. A lot of anger.
I do know those sometimes those get more views.
Oh,
right?
they do. I've done a few of them, and they do.
It's all about the clicks. I have as well, right? I totally get it. I understand. It's as you're a creator, you want your videos to be viewed, and sometimes that's how it seems like. If you come up with a sexy title or something that's intriguing title-wise, a little clickbait, and you get more views.
I'm angry about a new toy coming out. Yeah,
right. But it is wonderful that there are channels out there like yours, and I think like mine, that where we kind of try to focus on the good and really try to evoke feelings and memories from years gone by. Hey, I was going to end this thing, but I got to go back to the chat real quick because we have another super chat here. It's from just a super sticker from my friend Jason Goldtrap. So thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate everybody that has dropped a super chat into the stream tonight. And you know what? There are 100 different ways to show your support. Super chat and super thanks are one way of doing it. Others are just watching the videos or sharing them on your favorite social media channel. All of those things are great. But thank you, Jason. Let me see. I'm going to go. I typically, someone eggs me on to play a little Lawrence Welk, and I haven't done that tonight, and I still won't. Because I don't think Jason is a fan of Lawrence Welk. But I am going to go to a tried and true, one of my favorite videos to play, because this is how I feel about you, Jason, and this is how I feel about this community.
You are special.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, everyone. I sure hope you all have the most marvelous of holiday seasons. You know what? It's a special time of year. I hope you're able to spend it with those that you love, and that, I hope you're making more memories, right? It's fun to think back to years gone by and those memories, but I hope you're also making new special memories as well. And I want to wish everyone the happiest of holidays, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on this live stream. Junkman, hang on for about 15 seconds or so, and then I'll close this thing down and we'll visit offline. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Truly appreciated.